more than one ways of doing the same thing right, and even maybe better. So do let us know. But we'll be talking about the basic recommendations that we feel like from the previous 6 to 7 years of experience. So objective of this session is to understand the application process and the self-scoring, or for the general surgeries, the scoring system. We'll be talking about the resources, as well as we'll be giving you the tips to get the maximum out of what portfolio you have. This is just an overview, not entirely relevant at the minute, because what I would recommend it, irrespective of what competition ratio is going on, you got to give your full effort, and then leave it to the fate. But generally, the competition ratio has gone up remarkably in the last 3-4 years. It used to be very low 6-7 years ago. It did go up in COVID time, it did come back, but now, because a lot of candidates who were not in the UK, now they are coming to UK, they are applying more and more after the COVID restrictions were lifted. So the last year, the competition ratio was 5.1. So 1 in 5 applicants got the slot. That does not mean that the actual competition ratio is 5. That means that out of all the applications submitted, the ratio was 5.5. But many of the applications were submitted, the people were only having a feel of the application. They did not intend to take it further. They did not submit any evidence or any templates. So they were, most of them, like 150 were rejected straight away. And then there is a invitation to the interview of 288, and then 161 are offered the slot. But again, 161 are the slots, but the rank that gets the training number, last year it did go up to 200. So it's not as bad as it looks on the paper, but yes, it's getting more competitive. That's for the vascular surgery, may not be relevant to you unless you are applying for both. The number for the vascular surgery turns out to be 6.4, but the same holds true. Many people do apply for both general and vascular surgery. That gives a more competition ratio, but if they get both, they leave one of that. So that essentially increases the competition ratio along with the other factors. The process, you guys, I'm sure, understand. You apply, you submit your templates. In vascular surgery, you do the self-scoring. They verify that, give you the final score. Then the top, in general surgery, 288 candidates are invited for the interview, and combining the score of interview as well as the application ultimately gives you a rank that helps you get the ST3 slot. I'm sure you guys have seen that already. The application would close on December 11. Then they will be evidence verification. I think somebody mic is open. My voice is echoing. Can somebody turn their mics off? Let's see. That's very... Okay. Sounds better now. Okay, so and the interview this year would be end of the March. Oh, that's very annoying. Are you guys also having echo?
Yes,
there is a guy, Naveen. He is having this echo. Naveen.
Okay, Naveen, can you please mute yourself? I think I've done it, so should be all right. Yes, better now. So sorry about that. I think there is a control I have, but I'm not able to find now, but I'll figure out. So in interest of time, I'll keep moving. So you guys have seen, so general surgery interview would be end of the March, and surprisingly, the vascular surgery interview is quite earlier than expected, early February. And then after the interview, the initial offers will be released after your preferencing. That would be mid-April, and then cycles of the preferences, and ultimately the post would start either August or October, depending upon the deanery. You guys know that it's through the Oriel. I don't need to go through in detail, and it comes up as KSS, but the KSS is the region that manages the recruitment for the ST3 for the whole UK. So on the Oriel application, that is the one that you need to apply, even if it's Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, or England. There's a long listing. I won't go through all the exhaustive detail, but the important to know is that this year, applicant must be GMC registered with license to practice. This is the new requirement. Last year it was not, and this is true for all specialities. So if you don't have yet, make sure that you get it. Otherwise, the application would be rejected at the long listing stage. Second is the MRCS. It's the mandatory requirement, but if you are planning to sit in the MRCS Part B examination in February 2026, it should read 2026, then you are eligible to sit in the interview, but you will only get the slot or the ranking after the result of the MRCS examination. If unfortunately somebody fails, they will be excluded. And if they pass, they will go as the other candidate. Many, not many, but some people do have the membership of the Royal College, but that is not by the examination, but because of some honorary attachment. For example, few people do get a membership of the college because of the fellowship in their own country, but for this application, it has to be a membership by examination, not honorary membership. Core training, the pathway is very clear. If you have completed the core training, you are all set. If you are into core training, is your second year, you are due to finish in either August or October. Next year, you are eligible to apply. Something that has changed this year is the crest form. Well, it's not a lot changed. It's just the name they have changed. Is the alternative certificate of eligibility to enter higher surgical training. So it's the CREST form, certificate of readiness to enter higher surgical training. If you have the CREST form filled in from the last 2-3 years, that is still valid and you can still submit that. But if you do not have, then you need to download the new one. There are very minor changes, not a lot. Get that filled in and get that signed and then submit that. But make sure that you don't download CREST, CREST, which is for the core surgical training application. For the higher surgical training application, it's the CREST, nowadays known as Alternative Certificate of Eligibility to Enter High Surgical Training. You go to your Oriel application, you will find either the link or the attachment to download that CREST form. So the CREST form, it has multiple competencies that need to be signed off. If one consultant is happy to do it, great. If not, you can have one consultant to get your competency signed, whatever that consultant can, and then get another one, or maybe 3 or maybe 4 consultants. But what you need to make sure, all the competencies listed into the CREST form are signed off. If any competency is less, that risks the rejection of the CREST form. But it doesn't have to be a single. It does not have to be a UK-based consultant. It does not have to be an FRCS consultant. It does not have to be a consultant registered with the GMC. Consultant in you work.
Hi, Jaresh. Yeah, tell me.
The ED has referred, Jerome has referred traumatic pneumothorax.
Okay.
No oxygen.
So that consultant does not have to be in UK. If you have most of your experience in some other country, you can request them to sign it, but make sure that they put their country registration number onto the CREST form for it to be valid. This is just the snapshot I have taken from the instructions to the consultants for the CREST form. What they say that to the consultants, that you sign the competencies, you do not necessarily need to have witnessed the competency. Let's say somebody comes to me for the CREST form. I have not seen everything into that list, but they say that they have done it. I can speak to my colleague, and if they assure me that yes, XYZ person is able to do cannulas, is safe at work, or any other competency, NHS understanding and all that. If they say that, yes, they have evaluated, then I would say that's great. And I can sign the competency. So I do not need to personally witness all competencies. But if I'm satisfied through any resource, then I can confidently sign it. This is also a snapshot. It says that for this year recruitment, satisfactorily completed 2021 CREST form will also be accepted as evidence of achievement of competence. That's what I highlighted before. This is just the general guidance of the experience required, but what matters essentially is ultimately your scoring. So they keep in the person specification, they keep giving that guidance. So I'm showing it here, but I don't think that essentially matters, that general surgery minimum 12 months experience or vascular surgery minimum 6 months experience. Even if you have less, your score will be less, but it's not an absolute criteria. As it says, it's the desirable criteria. But somebody who already is on the specialist register, or who has already been through the CSER or CCT, they are not eligible. If you have had more than 24 months of LAT experience, means 3 years consecutive, you are not eligible. There used to be a mandatory requirement of ATLS, basic surgical skill course, or the CRISP course. It's not mandatory anymore. Nowhere in your evidence or your application, they will ask it. But if you have not done these courses, these are very important in your interview, in your clinical station, the CRISP and ATLS and basic surgical skill, especially for the vascular surgery interview. It's very important. It will help you a lot. If you've not done it, I recommend before the interview, try and do it. Shortlisting process. So once you submit the application, you will be in general surgery. We will come to that in detail, but it's just for the process. I'm sure most of you are aware. You will be required to fill in the templates for the different segments of your portfolio and then get it signed and then submit it. They will verify the evidence and give you the score. And based upon that, they will invite for the interview. But we'll come to the details of the shortlisting in our second part of the presentation. I will skip the vascular surgery for now. We will come to that after 7 o'clock. The oral application, the general application, I don't think there are a lot of points that need to be discussed here, but what is more important to stress that you need to mention the employment history either in UK or overseas after graduation from the medical school. So some people have the foundation year before the graduation, means that they are only given the graduation certificate once they complete the internship. The ORIAL asks them to put that internship as part of their internship year work experience. Any employment gaps, whether sickness or holiday or any gaps, maternity or something else, you must mention. and they will ask you all the rotational posts. It's important you carefully mention those rotational posts in here, because that would ultimately matter in the your rotations scoring as part of general surgery application. Evidence of employment. What is more important in evidence of employment is whatever you submit, either contract of employment or completion certificate, HR letter, supervisor letter. The preferred is the contract of employment, but it must have your start date, finish date, and what specialty you have rotated to. If the contract does not mention these, then you may require to get a separate letter from the HR, or the completion certificate. If that does not mention, you may require, because in general surgery, they have a very low threshold to reject the evidence. And in some segments of the application, if the evidence is rejected, the application is withdrawn and there is no point of appeal. Last year, many people were excluded from the recruitment cycle just because little bit carelessness in submitting the templates, and their applications were excluded. So be very, very careful. You do everything that they ask you to do, and make sure that everything that they need, it's all mentioned in there. Even if you don't have anything, for example, in some portfolio, just mention you don't have it and then submit it. Don't leave it blank. Don't think that you won't submit and you will get away. No, so you got to submit even if the blank sheet, because on the template there is a tick that you don't have any evidence. Mark that tick and submit that. Any queries related to Oriel? Few people struggle a lot. They struggle to find the link. It is in your Oriel account application link as well. But just a reminder, you can always ask them, and they are very good in replying to your queries. So that's the initial part of the application, the generic segment. Let's see the questions before we move on to the scoring for the general surgery. Will the session be recorded? Yes, it is. I'm just looking at the questions now. Cannot hear you. Can you guys hear me now? Sorry, I missed it. Shanga, sorry, last year I got 23 scores and got a lat position. This year I got 9 with new scoring. I have these 2 questions. First, does the lat serve me in my application at all? No, lat would not have any impact on your ultimate ranking. But once you get the slot, you can skip ST3 year because you have done the lat year. Second, do I need to do CREST form again this year? No, because if you had done it last year, you can submit that again. If you don't have that, then it's not difficult to get anyone. Do you need license to practice from the application or by start date from the application? Your application would be rejected if you do not have license to practice. Just to clarify regarding the CREST, it's not CREST. First of all, it's a SHIMA. It's not CREST. CREST is for the core training, CREHST, higher surgical training. That one you need. Form, I have a form signed from last year with a consultant that I was working with him last year. Is it okay to use it because I'm not working now? That's okay. Yeah, it's still valid. Can we clarify how many people will get the interview? 288. I have done my specialization in general surgery from Pakistan. It included dissertation, how to get that certificate accepted for the ST3. We'll come to that in detail. But this year, they have very strict criteria, and probably FCPS or MS from the India will not be counted. But we'll come to that in this scoring in detail. Is there 21 CREST form available for the reference so I can check if I had the 2021 version on the form signed? It's the same form since 2021 till 2026. So if you had it signed anytime between that, it was 2021 version. They didn't change it in the last 5 years. Will general surgery rotation done in the internship count towards time spent in general surgery? No, after foundation year only. Can we provide a letter from clinical lead about the post rather than HR? Yes, you can. Yeah, Zulkarnain, if someone applied last year for ST pound, ST3 general surgery and didn't provide the certificates, Are the ineligible now or can submit? Yes, can submit the application. Again, they will not look at your previous application. That would not have any impact. So submit as a fresh candidate now. I hold my license. Can I need to activate it before? It should be licensed to practice. That means it is active. If inactive means you are GMC registered, no license to practice. Can I use paternity? Oh, where is it gone? Sorry, skipped. Can I use paternity leave as less experienced than I am? Oh, goodness, it keeps skipping now.
Okay, 自我真係我嗰份先嘅。Request for
Sorry, I missed the question. Can I use paternity leave as less experience since I am just exceeding 36 months, which will decrease my score? So if it was a paternity leave, more than 4 weeks, obviously it would matter. And if you have the gap in your employment and there is no logbook for that, and the contracts show that, then yes, you must use it in your favor. But obviously the evidence is what is more important. What to write in professional status and in crest form section, crest form? Sorry, who is a Basit? I could not get what you mean exactly. Can you please clarify? Is the residency overseas counted as general surgery experience? Yes. And will it affect my score if I wrote it down as I have more than 3 years in residency? We'll look into the score shortly. Crest form should be handwritten or computer edited, any. I have my form signed in 22. Will it still be valid or get new? So I recommend get a new one because it's 22. Generally, they used to accept 3 years. So probably it's just at the edge and it's not difficult to get it. So I recommend you just do it. Probably 22 one would be accepted because they say 2021 version is valid, but I recommend because it's just 3 years, just get a new one. Is research fellow post counted as experience? Not as an experience. We'll come to that in detail because during the research, many people do on calls, general surgery or on call commitments or occasional clinics, but that is not counted as an experience. So, and research post itself is not counted as a clinical experience because they are asking for the clinical experience. But in the application, in the initial segment, you will obviously put those years as research year, research gap. In the evidence question 1, we'll come to that. Do we have to provide all the evidence after foundation year till now or just the general surgery experience? We'll come to that in detail. What should I write in professional status and current post in crest form? Professional status. So professional status and current post. So current post, whatever you are, registrar or core trainee or SHO or whatever, and
Sorry.
professional status.
My question is, this is in crest form of my consultant declaration. It mentioned that what is the professional status and current post. What should I mention for my consultant over here?
Or for the consultant, professional
Yes.
status would be consultant, colorectal general, or even if urologist or whatever. And
Current post?
current post would be, I think it's essentially the same. But sometimes maybe, I'm not sure they mentioned two. I didn't see that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes
they have,
somebody is a professor or something, academic post as well.
because I worked in the military, so some of them have military grade. Should I mention this one or should I mention their professional status like professor, associate, or only doctor? Or HOD only. I'm confused in this one.
I think the current post, probably if there is any additional to consultant like HOD or something extra, you can mention in the current post. But I don't think that would matter.
All right. And one more question. While
Yeah.
filling the oral form, I did my training back home. Should I mention there separately that I did 4-month rotation in vascular, or should I write in one go that 39 months training in general surgery?
No, when you're filling in the application, it would ask you in chronological order. Have you done that already, or you just
Yes,
doing
I
it?
have done it already.
So it would ask you in chronological order. So if whole vascular experience was not consecutive, then you may have to mention separately. But when coming to the templates and scoring, then you will have to sum up and give your total experience.
All right. And for the experience, I have a template where it mentioned that general surgery from this date to this date, vascular from this date to this date, and signed by my consultant, signed by my HR. Is that enough, or should I get another form signed by my consultant mentioning that he's been involved in emergency surgeries and this all things?
So what they will ask is, I think it will be more clarified soon as we go on to the scoring. So
Sorry. All right.
just wait for 10 minutes. But if it's not clarified at the end, we can explore it in more detail.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Is there maximum cutoff for experience in general surgery? Again, that will come because it would impact scoring, but there is no maximum. For people who completed core training, is it just attaching a photo of final ARCP from ISCP, or other evidence is needed? No, the if you download photo or PDF or whatever from the ISCP, the last ARCP is signed off, so that should be enough. All applicants must hold full registration with the GMC at the time of application and hold current license to practice on the date. Yes, I think it's a copy paste. This is from the handbook. Just wanted to clarify this point because currently I have full registration without license. So that's what I said. Yeah, you need to have a license to practice. So you will have to activate your license to practice. So probably do it now because sometimes it does take 3 weeks. Is it general surgery or colorectal surgery? Then it's surgeon or HOD. So that's clarified. From the logbook evidence, is it a consolidated signed e-logbook report sufficient, or do we need e-logbook evidence from every surgical post we have undertaken? So the consolidated sheet is sufficient. So your supervisor will need to see each page of your logbook and sign it. Then you will make a PDF, and along with your template, you will submit that. And then there is in this year, they have changed. Your supervisor need to sign a single form as well for all the templates. So we'll come to that. Someone who is not working in the NHS can apply. Yes, they can apply, provided they have GMC registration with license to practice. Separate logbook from home country and UK. Should I make one single logbook or separate one? One single logbook is recommended because nobody would be keen enough to explore your two logbooks. And you can always transfer your cases from overseas logbooks to the elogbook.org and make it a single logbook. It's bit of a strenuous task, but if you do it now, maybe in 2 days, if you sit dedicatedly, it should be doable. Right, I'll switch to the other PPT now.